Hello and welcome to another my NT marriage video. I want to talk about how I got over all of the past hurts. And I can tell you this was a challenge and a half, but I'd set myself this challenge. I needed to do it for my own mental well-being. So to begin with, I put a coded message up on the bathroom mirror on my side where I would see it often. And the coded message was a reminder to myself not to bring up the past. A lot of times I'd bring up the past because the issues had been unresolved. And my husband would say things that would trigger an unresolved issue memory, if you follow my drift. Let me give some stories to put it into context. We went to Singapore to visit his family, and I liked it there. I had a nice time. I thought it was pretty cool. But a few things happened there that weren't quite nice. A few remarks made about my appearance. And after we left Singapore, my husband kept talking to me and mentioning these things that people had said about my appearance. And it's kind of odd because he wasn't saying it in a way that is like, you're really gorgeous and what they say doesn't matter. He was saying it in a way that implied that their opinion, their negative opinion about my weight, bothered him. He saw their point of view and stuff like that. To take it back a little bit further, we'd gone there 2 years prior, and I was around 56 kilograms, so it's pretty little, it's pretty light, pretty small. But I had wanted to lose weight. I wasn't happy at 56 kilograms. I could kick myself now because I'm heavy, but anyway, I wanted to lose weight so that the next time we went, I didn't feel as judged, because even at 56 kilograms, they were giving me looks. And so I wanted to lose weight the next time I went, and I hadn't. I'd gained 2 kilograms. Now, it's very, very doubtful 2 kilograms was even noticeable, but nonetheless, his family were asking him, has your wife gained weight? Has your wife gained weight? And they were asking him because they wanted him to say yes, and then they felt better about themselves because other people are getting fatter. Ha 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 ha. Some strange sort of weird thinking that a few of his family members have going on. So we go there and I haven't lost weight, and they make these remarks, and then he's telling me about them after we're back. And so where am I going with this story? Good question. Thereafter, anytime he mentions, shall we go back on a holiday to Singapore, I am triggered. I am instantly upset by the memories of their negative opinions and of him not having stood up for me. Like if he turned around when they'd said, has your wife gained weight? If he turned around and said, my wife's gorgeous. She's got a beautiful body. I love my wife. Don't say anything bad about her. She's hotter than you'll ever be. You know, I mean, a girl can dream, right? That would have been nice. It would have resolved the issues. It would have made that whole debacle bearable. But that didn't happen. He sided with them. Now when he talks about Singapore, all I can think about is, no, I don't want to go back to Singapore. So that is an example of how negative memories affect the now. So he can come up to me and say, shall we go back to Singapore? And I will be back in that space, that memory, feeling crummy all over again. So order to help myself move on from that, I had to make a concerted effort to not talk about the past. Now he would say something, Singapore, I will feel triggered, but I don't say anything. I don't speak about it. I hear that thought, thank you thought, nice of you to pop in for the millionth time, now go away. And I started to do things like that. Actively not speak out loud the thought I was having. To acknowledge I had the thought and disregard it. Not bring it up in a current conversation of, no, I don't want to go back to Singapore because blah, 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 blah. And hubby's like, oh, why did I speak, you know? So my triggered memories would obviously bring down the mood. He'd be trying to just say something light and I'd be there crapping all over the mood. And then I'd feel bad and he'd feel bad and the whole thing was a schmozzle. And I knew that it just wasn't healthy to be living this way. And there was nothing that could be done about it. This was the thing I really had to get my head around. He can't repair that. He can't go back in time and say those wonderful things I wished he'd said. Even if he went back in time and said nothing. There's no going back in time. There's no resolving this issue. There's no point wishing, you know. And so I'm letting that old bad mood affect the present. And I really needed to let that go. So I made a concerted effort not to talk about the past. If I have the thought, just leave it in my head, don't speak. And then also on top of that, I say to myself when I do have such a negative thought, that isn't happening now. That is not my reality at this point in time. Excuse me. At this point in time, I could be sitting outside, enjoying a bevy while in my garden, or I'm reading a good book, or I'm watching a funny show, or, you know, that's my now. Maybe I'm having a lovely bubble bath with hubby. That's my now. Those old memories can't hurt me now. They're in the past and I'm here. And so I really made this concerted effort to start thinking about it that way. And yes, there's all manner of unresolved issues. Issues that will never be resolved. But harbouring them and holding on to them just hurts me. In the end, I'm angry, I'm resentful, I'm depressed, I'm frustrated. I'm living my life with shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and if only this had happened, and if only that had been said, and why didn't you this, and why didn't you that, you know? What an awful way to live. So I've been doing that for about 4 years. At the same time as I sort of disconnected. The effect that that has had is both surprising and amazing. I don't feel as resentful anymore. I don't harbour those same resentments to that massive level that I used to have, like so hurt and angry. And because I'm not feeling so angsty, I'm not talking about this crappy memory. I'm not bringing up the past. Both hubby and I started to feel less agitated. So he can now say something without me being triggered, or without me speaking out loud the trigger that I feel. And what that's done is it's calmed the situation down. I feel less volatile. I'm not holding on to those memories. With each passing moment, they get less and less. He's feeling better. He's not feeling as attacked. And he feels just as bad. He can't go back in time and do it differently either. So it's calmed our situation. We're feeling better. We're interacting better. There's less sort of fighting and anger, and it's just nicer. It really is just nicer. I kind of wish I had done it much longer ago, but I really needed to get within my own headspace of there's no point you wishing things could be undone, or that he would give an adequate apology. Because that's what I'd really wanted. I'd wanted a really adequate apology. I'd wanted to understand, what were you thinking? Why did you do that? Why didn't you say something? Why didn't you stand up for me? Now, years later, he can't answer that question any better than he could have at the time. So it's not really fair for me to be putting that on him as well. So yeah, I really had to just sort of move on. Let it go and move on. And it has made a difference. I can honestly say that. We're sort of not at each other's throats the way that we used to, and I feel less depressed and angry and frustrated, which is obviously good for both my mental and physical well-being. Because holding on to really negative thoughts and things, it can have really bad effects on your body. And I just didn't want that for myself, you know. I want to go into sort of middle to old age feeling healthy and happy. Anyway, drop a comment below if you can relate to this. Is it something you could try? Have you been doing this already? If you have been doing it already, what effects have you noticed as well? Either way, drop a comment below. Love to hear from you, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I really do appreciate it.